Jobs are temporary. Okay, rates don't keep up. Europe rapidly going to be replaced by AM subscriptions in the following month. Welcome to 2025. People still talk about climbing a career ladders, but in reality, the ladder collapsed a long time ago. Security isn't as it used to be, and the rules of work have changed. There are four reasons why that career ladder is broken. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. Fun times, right? Welcome to Eyeglass. Let's dive in. The myth of job securities. So for the longest time, job security was the most important thing that we said to have to good life. It means stability, pensions, health care, and career upward. But today, with numbers telling a very different story, according to U.S. variable statistic, the average time people spend the same jobs 2022 about 4.1 years. For people between 25 and 34, it's only 8 years. As you can see, that's not exactly a lifelong career, but more like a pit stop into the next thing. And it's not exactly what choice people working there. It's just that nothing is that safe anymore. Even industries one considers safe have lost stabilities. Pensions have also almost disappeared. Here's a wide statistics for you. For generations, one majority of working workers, meaning regular people with regular jobs, benefit from something called a defined benefit pension plan, which basically means employer would pay you a set sum of money every year after retire for the rest of our life, and they pay the power on pocket. The calculation is worse when regarding how long you stay in the company and your salary. So in that case, staying that day in the same job, what a pretty good meant retirement money is secure. But now, pretty much nobody doesn't have anymore, and instead you have to rely on the 401k plans when you so stay in the case that the same company will no longer guarantees you anything beyond loyalty points and framed employees of the month poster. The career ladders would appear on promise with stabilities, but the foundations no longer exist. People stand just the way on the job. Pensions are pretty much gone, and layoff or routine. In 2025 alone, Microsoft fired 9,000 people, around 40% of its workforce. Across the tech sector, more than 63% people were left just first half few years. We're talking about $1 trillion company here. It's okay, it's stable, it's just that level. It doesn't exist anywhere. You see, depending on the paycheck means it's forcing you to single point of failure. Lose that paychecks and what 100% of income disappear. According to the Federal Reserve 2022 reports usage has been 37% adjusted struggle to cover 400 emergency expense. That means that millions of people want email from HR a way to immediately financial problems. And reality is these people aren't getting fired because they don't perform. That becomes cheaper to hire a lower paid for one straight up AI to their job for way cheaper. That's at least that Microsoft did. That's the realities behind myth of job securities. The ladders look stable, but it's built on sand, okay? That is really only half the problem. But before we dive into the half, I just want to take a moment to highlight how the Atlas app can not only help you elaborate in careers, but also change careers or even finally start your own business. Inside where got daily college lessons ranges from finance, intellect, and relationships, but also career specific collections been written in industry experts. Because, well, I mean the principally is works our goal is to have created 1,000 lead millions. We have already meant of you would like to be one of them. Okay, so splitting this deal scan of QR screen on the 25% annual membership. But in the meantime, let's get back to the other half two of this career ladder problem. And that is the trap on linear growth. Now, job scales in straight line. You trade hours for the many ones of years to get raised, and over the years, your income slowly increases in a steady fraction. And that would be fine and good if your rest of world kept the same intellectually, but it doesn't. You can compare income growth over the past 40 years versus house prices, and yeah, that's why the career ladder feels like a treadmill. Each year you climb your salaries inches forwards while everything else runs ahead. The race you get race you catch up with, the rent increase, the medical expenses, mortgage, groceries, all of it. With promotion happens, okay? If your salaries rise 3% in years, but the housing in your city rise 8%, you're still falling behind no matter how hard you work. And husband, because in learning growth has a ceiling. A job is capped by how much they're willing to pay you, not by the value you produce. There's no compounding. Someone earning 50,000 back to 2000 steady in race in bed reach 90,000 today. On paper, that looks like progress, right? But when the cost of the average home more than doubles, progress disappears. And that is the trap of linear growth. It convinces you that its promotion is progress, but the ladder itself is too short. Climb as the fast you want, you'll never reach top because just doesn't go that far. So, what has been respond to all of this? Enter the rise of the fractional error. Now there's two problems to be solved here. First of all, the career ladder is too short and doesn't reach anything meaningful. Secondly, any point in time you can push down and there's nothing you can do about it. So a simple solution was that ignore the ladder altogether and don't bother the climate in the first place. We're entering what you could call the fractional era, where people split their skills across multiple employers, clients, and projects at the same time. And what's more interesting is that we are seeing this trend starts from the very top. The fractions twist has gone mainstream. CFOs, CMOs, CTOs, even CEOs now divide their weight between multiple companies. So even the executive, these winners of the corporate games don't see loyalty that worth with is worth anyone else. It also flips a power dynamic, okay? For decades, companies treated workers as disposable. One restructure, one downturn, one layoff notice, and years of loyalty vanish overnight. But now people are returning a favor. Fractional executives treat companies the same way as clients. A chief marketing official might forward the firm at once. If one has the contract, they still have it order three. If one company underpays, they move on. The dependency has flipped. And the fractional era, people are no longer owned by one ladder. They build portfolios, they hold options. Companies are temporary. So why does this work? Well, because business want top talent without having to pay them big full salary. A startup might need a CFO 1 day a week. A mid-sized firm like want to marketing guys for one project. A scaling tech company might be only the CTO for a particular launch. There are numbers back this up, okay? The oil reports 1 in 5 companies under 500 employees use fractional executives. Chief outsource, which is literally an executive as a service firm, from demands for the fractional executive has grown 60% years over years. MBO partners count a 4.5 million independent persons in US learning 6 figures annually, with many of them being executive, doing fractional work. And you see the rise of the fractional twist is important because it shows that if the highest career ladder has gone fractional, then the ladder itself is gone. Which brings us to the new securities. So from the merge of the 20th century, a definition of securities were stabilities. One employer for life, one pension, one paycheck so you could rely on. That's how your parents and grandparents built their life. But that word just doesn't exist anymore. Back in the 80s, more than half are regular workers and pensions. Today it's more like fewer than 15%. That then, because usually spend 20 and 30 years at the same company, today they spend less than 4. This number Tell a story, okay? What is once guaranteed stability has collapsed, and here's the hard truth. Stability is no longer security. It's actually fragility. If your entire life it depends on an employer, one paycheck, one ladders, you are exposed. It doesn't really take much of a whole structural collapse. The new security is optionalities, the ability to pivot, to draw on more than support, and to survive even one piece falls. It sounds ironic that first ranks because optionalities look unstable. Multiple roles, multiple things to manage, nothing lasts forever. But exactly what makes it strong. And if financial system having option is only from the protection, stability is the ladder. It's one way down. If half ladder breaks, you fail. Optionality is more like scaffolding, many support, many rules, and even when it breaks, the whole thing is still standing. Stability is a single paycheck. If you disappear, so there's 100% of your income. Optionality is a portfolio of incomes. Even the small ones add resilience, and if stop is not a word. Stability is not loyalty to the company. Optionality is a leverage across clients. You see, optionality doesn't mean chasing 10 hurdles and living in chaos. No, it means designing a life so that no single failures can break it down. In a way, it's how entrepreneurs look at the flow. The point is your parents could surprise on stabilities, but you can. The definition securities have a chance. It's okay. It's not a job you hold anymore. It's an option you build. It's not about climbing higher on ladders. It's having more doors you can work through when closest. So the question is no longer how safe is your job. The real question is if you lose it tomorrow, how many options will you have? Now, the bright side to all of this, if you decide to see it this way, is that having options have always been a good idea. The only difference now is, well, that you're kind of being pushed into it. We hope you learned something valuable here today at Lecture. We'll catch you again next time. Until then, take care, my friend.